Checking 1, 2, checking 1, 2. Looks like we're live on both Twitch and YouTube and also over on Steam. Excellent. Wonderful. Welcome. Goodness. Goodness. We have had such a week. Like, technically it's time to go live and I'm still prepping. Like, my goodness, folks. What a week. One second, guys. We'll be going live in like, I think like 30 seconds. Okay, I think that'll do it. I think we've got everything prepped and ready to go, and if we don't, well, I mean, we'll deal with it, because that's what we do here. Oh my gosh, welcome to the official ROCKFISH Games, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host and your guide, Eric Schrader, your community ambassador. Oh my goodness, we are cracking into EVERSPACE 2 today. I already sent a list, and I've already forgotten half of what's on it. That's not relevant because I have the list right here, so I can refer to it as needed. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just so great? But yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. So just spitting this back out there, we're gonna be talking about high risk areas and improvements and changes to that, including but not limited to some music stuff and some boss modification and how the meter gets filled, as well as a mutator being removed, that weakest link, and a new one to be added. Then we got some device stuff to talk about. I've got an item thing to talk about. Prototype stuff for stuff, Renown system, another perk, and then we're gonna be talking about screenshots, and if we have enough time, we're gonna be doing something fun at the end of the stream. We'll see, I hope we do. But we got a full list of stuff. So without further ado, we're gonna crack on into it with something that I didn't mention, but we are going to have a look at a coalition location. Since, you know, we've been given all this love to Zerilia and the Retaliators, but, you know, there's 3 new factions showing up here in this summer update that is coming out this summer. Oh my gosh. So that's where we're gonna start things off. Whoa. All right, this looks a little interesting and different. I'm just gonna pause here as I make sure that the chats are functioning accordingly. I also need to pull up one other little document. Woo! Don't want to forget any of those added little details. Just a quick shout out to Geekbyte, no big deal. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. Woo! My goodness. Has anyone else had a crazy week? Let me tell you what, mine has been kind of nuts. Oh my gosh. There we go. Oh my gosh, so much better. Okay. So yeah, let's start talking about this Terra Nova claim, because again, we're like diving right into another location in Drake. My goodness, I'm gonna show you all of it before that summer update hits. There's immediately a couple of noteworthy adjustments that I can just dip into. Some maybe not crazy, but some that are just pleasant. So we're just gonna hover over this prototype. Very subtle change here. This one's a lighter one, but you can see that now, like your prototypes, and this also applies to Starforged, they will have item borders to them. So you can just have a little bit more like wow factor whenever you get to those bad boys. Good stuff. Just a nice little convenience sort of thing, just to make it look, just to, you know, give that added little, I found a thing, sort of thing. Additionally, I want to be incredibly clear on this front. So, the save game that I was using like the last times we've been streaming, it became very clear to me that the way we have rebalanced the experience gains and the itemization generation, it is no longer very realistic to be flying around at like a level 20 space with fully maxed out superior equipment. In order to do that, you'd have to do a little bit of grinding. Superior equipment is really meant for like the 25 plus range. And, you know, then, you know, we haven't really cracked into legendaries yet, But the reason why I'm addressing this is what you see on the screen here. This is a fairly realistic loadout of what we would have at level 23. So when you see something like a superior item drop, it should be pretty exciting. Especially if you start over your save whenever the summer update that's coming out this summer launches. You know, building yourself up from level 1, you're going to have a lot more, especially with, oh my gosh, so many things rebalanced. It's nuts. It's just ridiculous. The figures that are behind the scenes bringing this all together, which we continue to talk about every week. But yeah, the tiers also being addressed in that front. And then, you know, you have the prototype and the Starforge grades that just, we keep adding these layers. It's kind of silly in the best way possible. Now, this is something else, which I'm kind of diving out of my orders incorrectly, but I don't care. So this is one that I think is probably the most noteworthy thing that we've had in some time regarding how the mainframe expansions work. So, very short, previously the mainframe expansions used to provide exactly 20 attribute points. And well, that's no longer the case here. If you look right next to my head, that I'm sort of blocking, this says that the mainframe expansion provides a 15% increase. 15% increase. That is not plus 15, that is plus 15%. So that means that once all those numbers, all these, let me get my face out of the way. Gosh dang it. Eric, get out of the way. What are you doing with your life? Okay, much better. So once you have those numbers onto your ship and it all adds together, then the number of mainframe expansions, in this case we have 3, 5% for each grouping of mainframe expansions, up to 5, right? Each one increases that number that is calculated from all of your gear and increases it by that percentage point, right? So if we were to remove these mainframe expansions, you'll see our value is 1207, right? So when we increase this number, 1207, by 15%, that is what happens. So the mainframe expansion is increasing this value, your bonuses, as opposed to providing just that static 20. So in short, mainframe expansions are a freaking heck of a ton better. Like, we're talking vast improvement over what they were before. So if you are taking the time and the energy to go and complete location challenges to obtain these and plug them in, it will be beneficial as you are leveling up. I mean, this has a direct impact on your scaling as you're progressing through the game, right? Because if you're in a lower level, 15% of whatever your value is still only 15%, right? It's like 300. Okay, well, it's gonna boost that by a little bit. You're gonna get something out of it. Versus in your late game situation, your firepower is 10,000. I don't know, whatever it is. Then it's gonna increase that value by 15% or whatever you have, right? So just a very simple update on this front, which through our testing has already felt so much better. It feels so much more rewarding having earned these because they do have an impact. And in addition to this, I even had a quick chat with Marco before the stream. My initial concern, maybe somebody else out there is thinking about it, my initial concern was like, man, well, what about something that you haven't put like any stats into? Like, that's not gonna be very beneficial to it whatsoever, right? Well, sort of. So when you're putting emphasis into one stat, like I have firepower is my biggest stat here, which really could use more emphasis, but you know, stacking the mainframe overrides on it, it's still like, you know, it's nothing absurd, but it is very beneficial to have, right? Like, we're taking it from less than our precision and then we're like really capitalizing on that. But if we wanted to use that on something like structure and give that a boon, it's still gonna help hook it up because you're gaining attributes every time you level up. So regardless of how much emphasis you've put across the board, you're still gonna gain those benefits through whatever you put it into. You're never like losing the power. But I think optimally how you guys want it to be and how we're kind of viewing it is that when you want to emphasize as much stuff as possible, like you really want to crack home that firepower damage or utility or whatever, when you invest the mainframe expansions into it, it's multiplicative, right? It just makes it explode even further. So that's a pretty big chain of events on that front. Okay, so that was a bit just right out of the gate, so I'm gonna answer a quick couple questions. Let's see here. Let's see, is the summer update going to become the fall update? No, it will be in fact the summer update. That's coming out this summer. Thanks for that, T3 Cube. Shadowy says, why not have constant rarity rates throughout the game, i.e. similar chance to get a superior legendary at level 1 as 30? Because that's just not the way we wanted to do it. Honestly, we wanted there to be unique modifiers that show up progressively over time that add depth to the loot pool so that you are in constant pursuit of something better. That being said, you know, if you are at a lower level position and you are investing a lot in your crafting and you're gaining a lot of parts, you can kind of like break that formula, if you will, especially if you're grinding out blueprints, for example. So in a way that you can kind of like bypass that system, like if you're only doing high risk areas when you're a lower level instead of progressing the story. But if that's how you want to do it, you would find those routes. But all in all, it's just the method that we wanted to approach it. We want those modifiers to be that determining factor on that front. Then we also had just a couple quick questions from YouTube as well. Excelsior asked, does it scale the same for all attributes? Yes, the scaling is identical. It just depends on where you are plugging it in. So like if I took our 15% out of precision, we plug it into structure, it's also still 15%. So, and it's the progression as a whole, it's 5% for each one of those tiers as it moves up, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20, etc., right? Also, I'm going to adjust this to do this. I want my firepower to be even more yummy. All right. So, yeah, great question. Then Bearded Frog also asked, will this make it into the spring update? The summer update? Yes, it will make it into the summer update. Yeah, so yeah, everything that I'm showing you, like, when I get the chance to show you this stuff, like, it's going to be in the summer update. I think there's legitimately been like 2 things that I've shown you guys that won't be because they're still a work in progress. One of which is like the ping system where you can add like a marker to the map. That will inevitably show up. It's not going to be ready for the summer update. And then, will the summer update come with new localizations for the new missions and new stories? That's actually a fantastic question from Wizard Jerry, which I'm going to have to redirect. Oh, Michael looks like he answered it. Yes, pretty sure we'll have localizations for the new story content in place. So there you go. Perfect. Thank you for that response, by the way, Michael. Awesome. So good questions. All right, so back to more content stuff. Woo! All right, hope you're having a good time. I'm like flying by the seat of my pants right now. Like I said, it's been kind of a crazy week, a crazy month, honestly. We've made so many improvements. But I think one of the next things that we want to do, of course, is, you know, we started in this space. Let's go exploring for a little bit. So this is a location inside of the Coalition's space, if you will. As you can see, man, they got some serious issues with Retaliators and Zerilia both. Goodness gracious. So let's address some of this for him. Woo! That beam laser though. I like the way it, like, the sound bends as you continue firing it. Ooh! Oh! That's a big find right there. Let's have a quick look at that. That is a Starforged level 24 sensor. Woo! So you can also see, I should have slowed down there and let it linger in space, but you could also tell what it is in space. Like it has a little extra circle around it. That's actually a really good get. That looks fantastic. I think we're gonna have to just slap this bad boy on. Excellent. Another change that we implemented, this is a very subtle one, but just kind of as a point of reference. Now whenever an attribute isn't on the other one it's being compared to, we actually just list out the attribute and show its value that it doesn't have. Very simple change. So like, since we have firepower, precision, resistance, and expertise being compared between these two, it shows the firepower difference, which of course is the entire amount of the one that has it versus the one that doesn't. But then it also shows precision, resistance, and expertise in that minus value. Again, kind of subtle, but relevant, just to make it a bit easier for a quick look to know what it is you're gaining and losing. Awesome. Wow, I can't believe I found that. That's wonderful. All right, let's get this Cerealia bomber. It looks like he's being a little too joyous against this coalition fighter. Woo. Excellent. Ooh, a cruise booster. That reminds me of another change that's recently happened. Oh my gosh. So many changes to talk about today. What's in here? Dark matter. Excellent. All right, so now that we've cleared out the combat, at least in this sector, we can kind of take a, wait, that's fine. We'll just take a quick look. So we have this coalition base. Look at that carrier, my goodness. All right, we have this coalition base that's kind of like ebbing around the side of these rocks, right? It's almost like this used to be a super massive base, and it's just, this is all missing. It's like, you know, we got these lights that are even like, hey, we got this huge thing, and it's just gone. Huh, that's particular. That's probably not good. But yeah, we've got this little coalition outpost here, and we have these debris, which are now highlighted to make it a lot easier to throw. And we'll just kind of like zip around, gather some stuff. And obviously answer some more questions very soon. So one thing we talked about last week was this combat mode, not last week, 2 weeks ago. That last week, oh. But 2 weeks ago we talked about this addition of combat mode. And you can see it subtly at the top and bottom of the screen. There's a little red highlight. And we also talked about some of the implementations of how like that affects the game space. So real quick, I just want to show an example here where we take these EMP missiles and we equip them on, and it says 25 seconds. What? Eric, this is backwards. This isn't an improvement. You're freaking, what are you doing? This sucks. You're making everything more difficult. Hang on there, all right? Because I want to introduce you to a new perk. We're talking about a new perk. So we're gonna go over to the HIVE. And we have this one called Startup Delays. Startup Delays reduces the startup delay after equipping a secondary weapon or consumable to 20 seconds. So it reduces that from 25 to 20. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to spend a perk to get back to where I was at? Yes. But don't worry, it gets better. So keep this in your mind as we were gonna continue playing out this location without that perk. And then I'm gonna load up a save where we have everything and I'm gonna show you its progression. So a little tease as we're moving into this new space and how we are designing this perk progression around this combat mode. As you can see, the location challenge here is to fix all of the leaks. So we could do that. I feel like I'll just leave you guys to this whenever we launch the summer update that's coming out this summer. But we build it, you finish it. Alright, but this this location, if I understand it correctly, this location is loosely similar to one of our prototype build locations from like literal years ago. Maybe some of you can kind of see it. The base, not so much. Kind of giving you just a nice general look of this territory. Some of you might recognize it. It's hard to see. It's arguably hard to see. Tight budget, says Sirloin. Oh my gosh. More like we made content and we figured that we should probably use it instead of make more content and waste our time. But you know, that's fine. That's your interpretation. Jeez, man. Is this the way you always are when you go to like dev streams? Like, oh man, I noticed your content's like, ugh. That was, it was a cheeky statement. I liked it. But I'll only allow it this once. Oh my gosh. But some of us only want to waste your time. That's fair. That's, you know, that's actually a pretty good statement. That's a pretty good statement. All right, so I'm gonna just like gather a couple of these other resources nearby. I'm hoping to get something again that would that was revealing of perk upgrades. I saw it with the credits, and I don't think that's something that we've fully discussed. Maybe we get it with the scrap metal here. Maybe. Nope, it's not gonna. I have to do a thing specifically, so never mind. But basically, and we kind of covered it in a previous stream, but for anyone who's missed it, whenever you have loot to pick up from like a container specifically, it will tell you if that item is useful for a perk upgrade. Just like straight up tells you. So, but anyway, who wants to listen to the Supralight music and Drake? So much stuff today. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna answer another question real quick. Question from T3 Cube on Twitch. Will the music for Zarkov and Kait and Drake be completed, or will we still have the default soundtrack thing that we've had since Zarkov? So I'm not entirely sure what your expectation is for the music. So let me set that right now. In short, there will be music that plays through all systems. Every single one. And there's also music that plays for specific systems, okay? Drake will have specific music. Zarkov has specific music. Kait Nebula has specific music, etc., right? So all of the music is certainly not done. We still have more game that we're making. We still have new systems, right? So more music is inbound, and that means that we could add in more music to the already existing systems. So I could not say that any current system is complete regarding its music. I can't say that, because we could throw in a track and remove one. We could replace tracks, move them around. So that's still a work in progress. But do know that more music is in fact being created. That is guaranteed. Am I playing on normal? Am I? Who's the scrub who asked that question? Oh, that was my coworker. Thanks for that. Excellent. Okay. Very good. Now, I am a bit, I think my level is a little bit high for this particular sector, so, you know, don't worry about that. For this bit in the game, for this demonstration of this location. Oi, he says. But I digress. Now, something I really enjoy about this location is that you have these like massive asteroids showing you that this is kind of like a chunk where this base has been established. Just to kind of like set that theme a bit more. These super massive pieces. And again, this is one location inside of Drake. So let's listen to some Supralight music inside of Drake. I looked down at chat and Mike's like, music could be louder. Oh my gosh, goodness gravy. All right, okay, all right. We're cranking it. Hang on a second. Hang on, super crank. Are you ready? Excellent. So you're really getting like all the nuance behind it, right? Like, so you can tell very much that Drake, you know, it's got this, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just gonna let you guys interpret it the way you want, I suppose. But overall, like, remember that this location, this is a battle zone, right? Between various factions vying for power, right? And they are trying to best one another, probably. So, it's not very joyous music out here. It's kind of like, whoo, whoo. All right, Wild West. Yeah, very much so. Very much so. All right, so I can't show you any locations as I'm flying through Supralight, so it's just the music from that point. So now we're gonna jump over to our next bit. Oh my goodness, where are all the things? All right. Quiet before the storm, I think, is a really good way to describe that. Yeah. It's a bit mellow. It's a bit somber. I missed a distress call. Yes, intentionally. I'll let you guys discover those distress calls inside of Drake when the summer update comes out this summer. Oh my gosh. So I picked up our previous save to talk about a lot more things. So let's just kind of like see where we're at with everything, because I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, so we like boosted some stuff and we did some things, and let's fully delve into the startup delays, right? So tier 1, you reduce that timer to 20 seconds. Now, in a previous stream, I had mentioned that when you are in combat, we didn't want that timer to exist whatsoever, which is set to this perk at tier 2. This removes the startup delays when not in combat. So if you're not in combat, you completely bypass having to wait around at all. And then the third upgrade further reduces the startup delay when you're in combat to 15 seconds. We're just gonna grab that too. Boom! So this whole combat mode mechanic is effectively tied to this perk. So when you're introduced to it, when you get it, like, yes, you gotta invest the resources, of course, but once you have it, it's gonna add that next level of convenience to where if you need something immediately, like our secondary missile, we are hot swapping without any ramifications because there's nothing nearby. And if we were in combat, we'd only have to wait a mere 15 seconds now. Just 15 seconds, as opposed to some of what we've had to deal with in other situations and cases. All right, so next we're gonna do some high risk area stuff and talk about some changes. I think I actually need to discard this one and just generate a new one entirely. We'll do it anyway. Why not? Why not? All right. What is the mining tracker? I see as a question from Species. The mining tracker. I'm trying to figure out where you saw a mining tracker. There's mining equipment, which is a commodity. Oh, you're talking about, are you talking about like, no, that's not what it's labeled. But I can show you tracking resources on the map. Maybe that's more of what you're looking for. Felt like bouncing around. I'm not sure what you saw that said mining tracker. But like on this is coming up in the summer update where you can choose what type of resource you're looking for, and then it tells you where it's at, provided you've added it to your map. You have to discover it first before it populates here, which that probably makes sense. You can't be told where something is if you haven't been there, like you have no data yet. All right. So we're in this high risk area. Enemies regenerate. We have overheated systems, so every 10 seconds, which is actually reduced by a little bit because of our stats. We'll have an overheated system, and then enemies die in a corrosive death. So let's use our gear and best them. One very pleasant change to high risk areas, which I think a lot of you are going to appreciate, is that now the boss meter fills up based on the type of enemy that you best. I'm gonna say that again without combat going on. Your boss meter fills up based on the type of enemy that you best. So if it's a drone, it's not gonna be much. If it's a fighter, it's gonna be a little bit more. If it's a big fighter, or if it's a small freighter or something like that, it's gonna fill up even more, etc., etc. So based on what you are fighting, it will fill up accordingly. My goodness, we are in a little bit of trouble. So let's just rectify that through our means. There we go. Now we are playing on very hard in this state, and we also have a loadout that would be far more applicable to where we're at and what we are trying to accomplish here. So this is actually challenging. This is not me on a game dev build like herp derp easy mode so you guys can see everything going on. I do actually have to be fairly competent on bringing this all together right now. And that's how we want the high risk areas, by the way. I'm sure you probably do too. goodness. So we are using a perk that allows us to survive if we get destroyed, which we did. We absolutely did. Woo! I think what we're gonna do is we are going to swap our device out for our EMP generator. I think I want to get some more splash damage in on this. As well as the ability to, you know, survive. It's a lot of missiles. Oh, and you're an elite? Oh, that's no good. But we are faster than you. I can get around your shield. All right, there we go. Ooh, I keep flying through that corrosion. So what I'm gonna do here, since this is not looking super great for me, is I'm going to craft some large nanobots. I'll have to wait 15 seconds, but that'll be good. Otherwise, I'm gonna probably also have to use this energy shield so I'm just not immediately destroyed. Woo! There's our health back. Excellent. Get a little breathing room here. Woo! All right. Woo! This is particularly interesting. Hans Christian! Hans Christian! So normally the overheating effect goes away after a period, but it seems they have effectively bound themselves to my equipment permanently. That's definitely a bug and is not supposed to happen, thus making this situation rather impossible. Woo! Oh my gosh. But I do have missiles that shoot free. So when doing critical damage with a primary weapon, there's a 20% chance to automatically fire this weapon without consuming ammo. Anybody who's wondering about that one. Excellent. I probably missed a couple more questions doing all this. We'll answer questions here in a little bit. But yeah, this is definitely not supposed to be happening. The overheating that's happening from this high-risk area is meant to affect you only once every like 10 seconds, and then something else gets overheated. So we're probably gonna die. I do have this nasty little repair combo though. What's also interesting too, Hans Christian, if you are listening still, I do have this nano repair kit which damages a random, or repairs a damaged equipment item, and it's not considering them damaged because they're overheated. So we'll have to definitely fix that before the summer update that's coming out this summer. All right, anyway. Out of bugs and back into combat that we are definitely going to lose. But you can already start seeing, like, with how the boss meter getting filled up based on the type of enemy kills, that's gonna impact a bit more of even like what type of modifiers you're getting and how it's going to conclude your progression. I think I'm just gonna let this, I think we're gonna die here. I think we're gonna let this die. And we are going to generate a new one. Dr. Uwu, maybe just been overheated by the NPCs. So I would love to believe you on that front. However, I would have a overheat meter in my condition tab at the very top of the screen, and it was not appearing. So that tells me that's straight up a bug. But we can investigate that a little bit later. For now, what we want to do is we want to get into a better position to talk about more of this stuff that we've been working on. My goodness. Also, it is warm in my office, so if I start sweating, it's not because Michael's in the room. It's legitimately because it's just warm here. So let's go ahead and head to Union. Let's go over to Union. I think somebody had asked a question about showing a location in Union, so we could probably do that. I'll also answer a couple more questions, of course, as we're traveling even. To show that loot is useful for perk upgrades that you haven't even started yet. So one of the things that we will do, so this isn't 100% to that bearded frog, but your question, I will say one of the things we are going to do, one of the things we're going to change in how the progression to perks occurs is that we are going to list up all of the upgrades, even if you don't have the first one. So right now, as you can see, you can't, what upgrade 2 and 3 do, right? But we're gonna add that in. So you'll see all of what upgrades do. I think the game plan though is that you only see the requirements of the upgrade you're on. I think. There you go. Could we add these to every single upgrade and have like this scrolling up and down? Maybe we'd have to talk about that internally if that's what the best course of action moving forward would be. But there you go. So that's kind of how that plays out. I'm also going to go ahead and get these again because I can and also because I want to. Why can't you access the jump gate at Union, Border Control, and Zarkov? Because we never got access to it. We never got access to it. So based on the story campaign alone, when we are trying to get to Zarkov, our access from GMB effectively gets stopped because we have to have the codes, like lore-wise, we have to have the codes that the darker side of GMB only allows to pass through, right? We are a GMB grunt. Our access is very thin, and it's why we can move around Cedo and then also get to Union by, utilizing the Hive at least. But otherwise, we would have been able to get a key from our superiors, but we weren't, all the keys were distributed at that time. But from that point, there's no way we're going to find a key to get over to Zarkov, so it's locked away. We have to find another means through it, which is why we do. Then we use that, and that's the source that we go back and forth, even though you can see we got it, right? Everyone understands? So, like, you can see the connection points, but you don't have access to that. You have to go through the back way. Awesome. Yay, fun lore stuff. Okay. Now I'm heading down here. Goodness gravy. Somebody asked about, Bearded Frog also asked about, will my beatboxing make it into the game music? I certainly hope not. I think that you guys want a pleasant experience for your ears as you're playing the game. Perhaps in the Secret Earth cow level. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's head over to Prescott. I want to talk about Prescott. Otherwise, can you show us the location in Union? Yep, we're going to Union right now. It is in fact a location. Medbed. Whew. We can go to other locations in Union, of course.
Spatial bypass tech for the win.
I am awaiting the next impending malfunction, so I can finally say, I told you so.
Excellent. Hey, do we want to accidentally show ships that we're not supposed to show yet? I know I sure do. We're just gonna park here as I probably address a couple more things that are being added and adjusted. One of which is, in fact, the ship dealer. I just can't, I think we're okay. I think we're gonna do it. Oh, gosh dang it. Every time. Oh my goodness. Somebody screenshot that and share it with the world. Anyway, but no, we're like making more changes. We're making a couple more tweaks and adjustments to the ship dealer. Honestly, I don't think you've actually seen this ship model, but whatever, we're gonna throw it in there. I don't care. I showed it very briefly. There you go, guys. You get a little bonus today. Whatever. But yeah, there are tier 3 ships that we are currently working on and we're implementing slowly but surely. And the changes that I thought that happened here aren't quite implemented yet, but as I previously told you guys, there will be additional changes to the ship dealer page just to make things a little bit more clear. Like, for example, there'll be a ship description, which I'm waiting to hear back from regarding those. Not pointing that out or anything. But yeah, like we have, we got these switch passives options, which we showed. We can go ahead and do that really quick. One of the little tweaks we added to that, I think based on what happened to me, the passives that you get, the passives that are available, when you switch passives, it's going to prioritize different passives than the ones that generated. So, as my example was in that stream, I think it was 2 weeks ago, when I switched the passives and it swapped the passives, like literally the places of them, and I got the exact same 2 passives, it's gonna try not to do that now. Let's have an attempt here. So we can grab and throw drones, activate quantum tether, instantly press 50% armor, and enemies within 300 meters cannot regenerate shields. We're gonna switch the passives. Boom. So now, we still have enemies within 300 meters cannot regenerate shields, but now we have 30% increased boost speed while under missile lock, and locked enemy targets suffer 20% speed reduction. Whew. So it prioritizes different passives than the ones that you generated. Keep that in mind if you're searching for one in particular. And you can only do that once. So if I keep mashing this, it's not gonna keep changing it around. And if it does, it did. Oh my gosh. Wait, is it swapping it back and forth? Oh, is that? I wasn't told it would do that, but that's what it's doing. It's swapping it back and forth. I don't know if that's a bug or not, but I love it. Can we keep that, team? Is that okay? Oh my gosh. But regardless, the focal point of swapping passes around is to implement a different passive than what was before. That's the overarching thing. That's the overarching thing. Cool? Cool. Oh my gosh. Excellent, wonderful, fantastic. All right, let me jump over to my list. Make sure we're getting all the things covered because there's so much. We are gonna have to go back to high risk areas because I did miss, I wanna talk about one new mutator. It's a cool one. I really like it. Devices. Let's discuss devices very, very briefly. This should be a fairly simple one, but I am going to need particular devices that require range. So one of the things that was just added across the board is that the range has now been listed on every single device. What? Yes. What a simple thing to do that helps out so freaking much. Am I right? Am I right? So now you actually know at what range these things work instead of if it's only in the description. It's just listed on every single one that has a range. Cool. So for the fusion hook, well, these two should be enough of an example. So also, whenever you use the device and you're not in range, let me just get some distance here. So when you're not in range, there we go. So like I'm trying to use this on this enemy. It says what the range is required directly on the screen. So now it's not just annoying, it's like out of range, punk. And you're like, well then what's the range? What's the range? Give me the range. Oh my gosh, I have to go in here and do the thing and look at the, no, you don't. Now you can keep flying around. It just tells you 620 meters. And you can very clearly see that it's out of range. So now it's like, okay, well, I really want to use this, so I'm gonna fly into that range. 620, boom, hey, it works! Just like it's supposed to. It's magical. Everyone rejoices. Oh my gosh. Very subtle, but I feel like that is such a massive quality of life improvement in just using devices in general. So again, any one of the devices at all that has a range associated with it, you can kind of like see it as I'm scrolling through all of them. It's just been plugged in right in that middle section next to the cooldown. So you see exactly what the range is, where it's at. Obviously that changes when you upgrade it too. But boom, boom, boom. Lots of little things like that we've been tweaking and modifying for the summer update that's coming out this summer. Woo! Woo! Let's see. I just have to say, I'm loving the hell out of this game, says James Rothwell. I'm glad. You are about to have a hell of a lot more fun come this summer update that's coming out this summer. Oh my gosh. Great, great, fantastic. And speaking of like little observations and questions, let's cruise through even more questions. We got lots from you guys today, and we have a tweaked new system that allows me to see them more clearly. So if I accidentally miss one, shout out to Geekbyte, who's kind of like cataloging them on the fly so that they don't just get swept under the rug and you feel ghosted and then you're sad, because nobody likes to be sad. Excellent. So this one comes from Medbed over on Twitch, which was, can you show us a location in Union? Was there a specific location you had in mind? Otherwise, it looks like from a Russian viewer, I do not know, I can't translate it, unfortunately, but their question is, will we see tier 3 ships in the summer update? Now, I have been told that tier 3 ships were gonna be withheld for future updates. That being said, with how we've been developing internally, I'm not sure I buy what I've been told. So we'll find out when the summer update comes out this summer. Legitimately, I don't know. All I know is that we've begun testing of it internally, and that's why you see it in these builds. But to my understanding, I don't think that we are supposed to have those live in the next build. Then next question comes from also YouTube, Tinshu Sniper. Do you guys have this game on early access on Xbox Preview, please? No, we do not. As of right now, at least I don't think it is. I think if you have, what is the Microsoft, what is that called? It's not available on consoles at this time. That's what I'll say. It is not available on consoles at this time. So in the future, it will be. We'll have announcements somewhat-ish soon. And we'll tell you what consoles that we're aiming to hit for the 1.0 release and all of that good stuff, which is coming out later. That information's coming out later this year. So in regards to Xbox Preview something or other, it's to my understanding we do not. The Game Pass, yes. Game Pass, yes, but not like the console specific. Then the next question's from Sirloin1234. How many hours do you have in EVERSPACE 2? Enough. I mean, it's not fair to look at my Steam hours specifically for EVERSPACE 2 because it goes outside of that, because we've done a lot of testing from other builds that weren't uploaded to Steam yet. I think it would be very easy to say well over 1,000. But again, like, developers are investing a lot of time into their own game, so is that really that surprising? But I digress. So I asked the question for Bearded Frog to figure out a location for me to go, and then I completely ignored what location he chose. Oh my goodness. Did you choose a location? Did we get one? Oh my gosh. Wait, was that your question, Bearded Frog? Oh, shoot. Who asked the question? Oh, no, it was Medbed. I'm so sorry. Medbed. Did you have a specific location you wanted me to go to? Sorry about that. Goodness. So many people asking wonderful questions. I got to take care of you guys, and you know, whew. It's nuts. It's nuts in here. I'll answer another question while you're answering that, Medbed. When do we hear more about device range and Renown? So the device range, I mean, we actually, that was just discussed. But yeah, actually, let's talk about Renown. That's great. While we're waiting on this location, let's talk about Renown. What? What is this? This is Renown. And it's definitely different than what we've had before. Now, this is probably nothing super crazy. I think some of you guys are gonna be like, oh, this actually makes sense. In short, instead of working up different status between factions, now you have an overarching Renown system of how you are cooperating in the DMZ. So through this, as you're accruing Renown, you're going to gain new benefits, and you're going to unlock, specifically in this case, more credits, handfuls of credits, and decals, specialty decals. There are still more tweaking and refinement and probably additions that will be added to the Renown system. In fact, I was talking to Hans Christian earlier today about what some of that looks like. So note that this is not a fully complete setup, but this gives you a much better representation of what we are trying to encompass regarding your progress through the job system. The more you put into jobs, the more you're going to get out of it. As you can see here, the benefits, it reads incorrectly. It's going to say higher level job opportunities with greater rewards are available. So once you complete the professional status, more jobs spring up at higher levels, and jobs will always reward an item. So if you guys are familiar with doing jobs, sometimes they can only provide experience and credits, which just kind of stinks. So instead, we completely cycled that out, and we have the ability now to always reward an item to a job once you reach the professional level. My daughter snuck into my office space. I have no idea where my wife is. So say hello. Oh, absolutely. Yes, this is my youngest daughter, Mercy. Say hello, Mercy, to everybody in the stream. You're totally not supposed to be here right now. I'm sorry, Michael. I hope that you understand. I am a father of 5. Live streams are the best, aren't they? You're so cute. I love you.
I ate the seeds.
You ate the seeds? Anyway, let's take a quick intermission. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I know it's a green screen. Nobody else can see that. Oh my goodness. One second. 1 second. Oh my goodness. We're just gonna stare at the chair, guys. It's great. Oh, goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh, the music is going. Oh my goodness. There we go. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. What an exciting turn of events today. Let me tell you what, that's the best, isn't it? At least it was a child and not like, you know, some catastrophic something else happened. All right, cool. So, we were talking about Renown and how the system's basically being changed. You get these benefits all about your jobs, all surrounding your jobs. Now, I did have a plan to show you a couple new jobs, but they're not ready. Ah, what? Oh, so close. We actually did some testing on some new jobs and then we had to revoke them because apparently there were some issues. But new stuff is coming on this front as well, surrounding all of this. But also want to just kind of like sneak peek into this elite status. Renown earned from jobs is increased by 10%, which just helps you get to that legendary status even faster. And then this one, jobs will always reward an additional item. So when you are at the max level of Renown, anytime you do a job, you're guaranteed at least 2 items. You'll have increased credits. You'll have like all of the additional benefits from every single one of these. So jobs can be a sustainable source of looting in an in-game state. Because that's, if it's not, then what's the point of doing jobs at all, right? So, but then in addition to that, of course, you're also getting these sweet new decals. So I do have a save file that is unfortunately borked, and what I mean by that is I can't show you the decals here. I could gimmick this and then show you like this decal, but each one on that front, just for like everybody to know, we want to add more decals into the game space, and I had some really healthy discussions with some coworkers regarding that, so that we can get to it. And yeah, those will be delivered probably not by the summer update, but over time, I'm sure we'll have some more by like the fall update and whatnot. And yeah. Do you want to go to Cartwright's wake? Is that where we want to go, Medbed? I don't know what you said. I missed a lot. You don't see the need since high risk drops the best gear anyway. Fizard, I think that's a great observation. However, I want to provide a slight amount of context to that and why I think that there's a different opportunity in the 2 different directions. Because one, when you're doing a high risk location, it is going to take a little bit of time to build up that boss meter, right? Even as you saw me earlier, even though it was kind of a fail whale since we had the bug, but it takes a while to get through that all, right? But then once you do, it gives you a big pocket of resources, of equipment, you know, versus jobs, which can usually be completed in well under a minute in most cases. Some of them might take a couple of minutes. So it really comes down to if you're looking to like get something really quick, maybe you're going through jobs and it's like, oh, they have a Starforged shield, I'm just gonna knock this out. Versus you do a high risk area, you know it's gonna be a commitment, but you also know you're gonna get a bunch of stuff that's random. So there's still that trade-off. So it really just comes down to the type of player you are and what you're kind of aiming for on that front. It sounds like you will have more fun going to those high risk areas, but it might not be for everybody, right? All right. Going through more questions just really quickly, making sure I'm not missing you guys. You guys have been asking some really great rewards. You guys have been asking some really great questions today as we've been covering a lot of content. Woo! So this one comes from Alios off of Twitch. What about adding another type of difficulty for high risk areas for more rewards? So that's what mutators are effectively. So maybe if we can find some mutate here, let's go somewhere, do some things, garner some gameplay for the freaking stream, and then also, you know, go into a high risk area that hopefully doesn't burn our ship out through bugs. My goodness. Come on, give me anything. There we go. Unknown signal. Perfect. We'll do it. Let's see what we get. Isn't Hive supposed to be able to override all gates? This is a fantastic question from Shadowy. So for all intents and purposes, the Hive unit is locked out of that gate because it's gamification, guys. All right, just freaking... We're driving the story forward by saying you have to find a back route into Zarkov. You can't use the mainline gate. You know, take it as you will, okay? Take it as you will. It's funny because I had this conversation with Andy like several weeks ago. I was like, why can't we access the gate again? I legitimately can't remember. We do have a reason. I can't remember the specifics of it. Oh my gosh. And I'm the lore guy. Oh gosh, that's embarrassing. Lore guy doesn't even know how to explain the lore. All right. Can't win them all, I guess. Okay, let's take out some fools. Oh, thanks. All right, seeing an elite over here. Perfect. Let's get the armor drone out of the picture. Beautiful. I want to get some high-risk areas, signal decoders to find high-risk areas. And the best way to do that is from elites. Elites have a much greater chance, actually they have some of the only chance to drop those signal decoders. So if you're looking for one, that's what you need to be aiming for. Elites, and then also completing location challenges. A lot of times there's gonna be like a random container in an area that usually go for the 100% completion of an area that will have signal decoders or ship colors or, you know, stuff that's a bit more rare to find. Ah, thanks, Alec.
Now make yourself useful.
That was 2 elites. So bad luck. We should have found 1 signal decoder from at least 2, but we got a 3rd one. Come on, don't let me down. Signal decoder, please. Please?
Intercepting. I suppose more credits will satisfy you.
No, Hive, they won't. I didn't want credits, I wanted a signal decoder. Oof. Okay, well that's fine. We can always make more, right? Goodness gravy. This stream today, something's in the water. Something's funky. I don't know. It's weird. What a stream today. But I'm just glad you guys are being present and asking these really solid questions and making beautiful observations. I appreciate that. I can make a signal decoder by the power of dev capabilities, but obviously you can't craft one. So I want to be very clear on that front. If you're thinking that you can go in here and be like, oh, specialty item, craft signal decoder, no. And that would go against the design we have planned for high risk areas and being able to accomplish those. So I want to say that one more time, just be super clear. You will not be able to craft signal decoders. No, you would have to find those. And that actually is surmised in 2 ways. The gamification way is that you actually have to go out and accomplish tasks in order to find them and use them. But secondly, lore-wise, the signal decoders, in fact, decodes a very particular signal, hence the name, of a location of grouped up enemies. Whether it's a meeting location or a base, whatever, there's a high risk in you going there, hence why they're called high risk areas. So that process is correct. And crafting one, no, we do not want that. So I'm glad I explained that poorly through my development tools so that I could clarify that. I think it's an important thing to note. No plans to do that. So because of that, I better hide my screen because I don't want to show accidental things that you're not supposed to see. So I'm just going to generate a couple of high-risk area signal decoders real quick so that we can go do some fun stuff, right? Because we want fun stuff. We want fun stuff. So let me just get a couple, and I'm also going to try and find our, we have a new mutator. There we go. This one's good. This one's good. This one's going to be very difficult. I'm going to make another one for us. But per usual, guys, if you are not a member inside of our Discord, if you don't follow us on like YouTube and stuff, we post a lot of videos over there, including recaps of every month of the streams. Like definitely poke in and see what we kind of like plug in all these other locations. Discord's very active now. And then also, of course, even though it's not listed here, I do recommend heading on over to Steam as well and wishlisting EVERSPACE 2 for updates to appear in your news feed on that front. It's very, very nice. Okay, so I think I've got two that are really, oh my goodness, the music has been doubled this entire time. It's fine, everybody. So I got two signal decoders here with the new one, the new mutator. The trait is called Evolution. So, as I said, kind of like at the beginning of the stream, we added the weakest link mutator that would make it to where you could only target a single foe. And we liked it, but it also wasn't fun. Like, we thought it was clever, but it just wasn't enjoyable. So what we did is we said, screw this. We ripped it out of the game, just it's gone now. Chucked that in the garbage because it was literally the weakest link. Anyway, so then once we did that, we decided, well, what if we did like this targeted enemy, like a marked enemy that still had something that could be valuable to it? And that's where evolution comes into play. And there could in fact be a few more mutators that are utilized like this. So, evolution, the marked enemy's level is increased every 15 seconds up to 5 times. That's not like multiplicative. It's not like 5 times its level, it's just 5. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the enemy is destroyed, a new one is chosen. So there's always gonna be one enemy that has a much higher level. And like I said, I wanna put emphasis on this. This could happen to, like, we could have a couple other mutators that enter the fray in the future, probably not by the summer update, but after the summer update, that do something similar to a random enemy, yada yada, because we do like that system it was kind of like utilizing. Cool. So I also wanted to try it with the strength and death on this one because it could be very interesting, but we're gonna start with evasive, corrosive death, and evolution. So enemies are gonna be a bit harder to kill, and if I fly through corrosion, I'm probably gonna die and it's gonna be sad. But we're gonna pop both of those. I think we're gonna go with this Starforge shield. I think it's just straight better, honestly. And I think we're also going to do these intuitive homing missiles. Yeah. We're also going to do that. And I'm just going to clean up. That was technically better. Whoops. Well, you know, what can you do? That's a lot of extra energy to the engines. That's a lot of extra. That's super fast. Of course, I would only be able to utilize that if I had a really good recharge booster that was applicable to its name. This is a moment where I'm highlighting a change to an item, by the way. So the recharge booster suffered dearly in regards to its capability to recharge versus the other boosters. Now, we kind of took a quick, like, we analyzed the different boosters very briefly, like the standard one, the cruise booster, and the recharge booster. And what we discovered is that the standard booster, it actually has, like, it increases your speed a bit better than the other two. Then the charge booster has a natural bonus to the speed, even though its speed bonus is equivalent to the recharge booster. But then the recharge booster had no benefits at all to its speed. So the other two were technically faster than the recharge booster, but the recharge booster's intent was to recharge faster, right? So it does recharge faster because the recharge speed is vastly superior on the recharge booster to the other two. However, the recharge delay was a second longer. So the recharge delay on a standard booster and on a cruise booster is 1 second. And the recharge booster had a 2-second recharge delay. It didn't feel good. So talked with Hans Christian. He was like, actually, this could be a good solution. We've made the recharge delay on the recharge booster less than a second. So even though it doesn't have the same speed capabilities of the others two, now this one should be able to be used more frequently because of how much more it's recharging for you. Make sense? I hope so, because that's what we're using and that's what we did. So it recharges faster, means you can boost with it longer, and when you stop, it recharges faster at a much faster pace so that you can boost longer. So you're technically going slower, but you're boosting for longer periods of time. Did you get it? You good?
Till next time, Adam.
Whew! We're happy with it. That's all I'm saying. Testing with it has been very good. And now, like for the first time, Union Signal Decoder, perfect. That's hilarious. Now I have a much more difficult decision of which particular booster I'm using because they each have their own sort of niche now. The recharge booster is nice because you can always be boosting. Very great for light ships and their quick mobility. Because having that recharge back into the fray is nice. Versus the cruise, which just gets you out of situations entirely. And the standard booster, which is just kind of an all-around, kind of does everything well, but doesn't really push the bounds on any front either. All right. So we're going to this high-risk area. We're gonna have a go at it. We'll see how we do. Oh, I just got just a very quick question, but I want to be really clear in how I answer this. So Fizard says, I'd assume pretty much everyone here has superior gear on their ship, so why not put max gear for these streams? So I love this question for two reasons. One, I was actually doing that up until we recategorized how different item tiers are distributed in the game space. And so because we are recategorizing that, I have now outfitted my ship according to what an authentic build would look like in your travels up to this point, okay? Now I say that because this particular save isn't an authentic progression all the way through. I've started a new save, I'm not quite to level 23 yet, but on my progress there, the equipment that I've been gaining has mostly been uncommons, and every now and then I'll get a rare, but I have only seen like one superior, and that's it. And we've done this for a number of reasons, but in short, it's kind of help ironing out the itemization progression as a whole. And so what you see on the ship right now is much more attuned to what an authentic level 23 space would probably look like that's completed the tasks and the challenges that I've currently done in this game space. So yeah, that's why. Now, obviously you can still grind out whenever you reach your maximum level limitation and probably get all the superiors for sure. But I don't feel that that would be the best representation in the live stream, because I want to show you the difficulty that we are invoking here as well, which is rather clear in this particular high-risk area. something I just now realized is I showed that demonstration of this device. I haven't even upgraded it. I'm gonna have to wait for that to get off of cooldown so I can cycle it out for something else. Woo! I also just caught another quick question on the corner of my eye about upgrading Stone Decoder rarity, and no, we don't have that either. That is not in the plans. That's not something we would like to do. All right, so we're gonna hot swap our device and get ourselves something a little bit more potent for this situation. All right. Oh, new music, by the way. New high-risk area music can appear. There are also gonna be some combat tracks that can also just generate for high-risk areas, but it does have some unique music like this too. Yeah, this is a great track. Goodness. And just to make sure I'm not like missing all the questions. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. So, a couple quick questions to answer and then I'll get back into the high risk area. Any plans for space fishing minigame? You are ROCKFISH after all. Her. That comes from Caden. Thank you, Caden. I love you dearly. No. The closest you're gonna get to fishing is this right here, where it's like, oh, I want this ship to come to me. Aha, fishing. There you go. That's about it. Do you guys tinker with the kunai animation? It used to do some sort of distortion before tethering enemies, and now it's just a straight line. Did it? Has that been changed? If it has, I haven't noticed it. I haven't heard anything about that particular element getting adjusted, Excelsior, so I don't believe so. Jobs need to be a sustainable source of loot for the end game, but what exactly is the end game? Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic question. I think that one could get very semantical. Is that a word? Semantical? We could go over semantics regarding what end game versus post game looks like, okay? But in short, when I say end game, it really means whenever you start veering into the end of the gameplay's campaign and everything after that. So end game includes post game, right? So just that clarity. And yeah, we would like jobs to be at least on some degree desirable in that end game state, because if it's not desirable, then why have it in the game at all? Like, legitimate question. It wouldn't make sense for us to have something in the game that isn't functional and isn't fun when there's better stuff to do, right? So that's why we are approaching and readdressing not only the Renown system to make jobs more appealing, but also to have them more valuable as well. It's a good question. I like that question. All right, so now I need to take out some foes, probably, before I died. Which is very likely gonna happen because of this level 28 Proto Scout. Oh my gosh, this evolution mutator is mean. Oh, and now we got a Madcap. Oh, we gotta take him out quick. Oh no, oh no. Okay, yeah. Woo! So yeah, with evolution, it's definitely something where you want to make sure your targets that are being addressed are taken out, otherwise they can become incredibly dangerous, because that level 28, oh my gosh, that could be painful. It might have been the way that we lost our shields out the first time. That should do him in. This guy. I see a drone carrier. We'll head over that direction. Let's try and get in range and make all the drones go away. Oh my gosh. EMP, ladies and gentlemen, can be used in such a cheeky capacity. I love it. Woo, goodness. And we are dead. Woo. I don't know what got me. It was probably an evolved enemy that I wasn't paying attention to, because they can... Killed by nothing. Excellent. It was too much for me. The stress, the impact of stress itself just, boom, took me out. Oh my gosh. So we get this little reprieve to answer some more questions. So you can see, like, as I am pushing the bounds of like where you should be at gameplay wise with the gear at this level and doing these high risk locations that are superior, it's gonna prove to be a challenge, even for some of the more robust players out there. Obviously, I'm not the best player of this game in the world, and I'm never even gonna claim that. I've seen some of you guys and you've got impressive skills, but we are taking the difficulty system rather seriously. And if you want a challenge, boost it up to very hard, and it's going to be. We want it to be an authentic challenge. Okay. Here's a question. Alec is a father of 26. Is it 26 or 23? I forget. I can't remember the exact number. Just imagine what it might be like for him. I know, right? Crazy. Crazy. I have a suggestion. Instead of speed up time, how about time compression? I'm not sure what that's relevant to, Dominic Troy. My apologies. But absolutely follow up with me on that front. I'd be delighted to, you know, follow up. Then let's see what else we got. Here, let's also get off the death screen because it's making me feel bad. Like, it's good to humble yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, but my goodness. Let's go. Didn't I have another save that I wanted to show some stuff in? Probably. It's too many saves. I've got too many saves. We're gonna go back into this one again. Michael says it is 26. All right, perfect. Excellent. Really nice camera angle added to the back thrust strafing. I did. Oh yeah. No, I think that's been all coming together fairly well. All right, so now that the music's calmed down and not depressing, let's answer just a couple more questions. And then I think we're actually gonna take just because things are going the way they are, and I wanna make sure that I'm covering all the topics, we'll kind of take a bit of a breather here and transition into, let's see, what else do we have? I think we covered all the topics. We did! We nailed it! We got all the topics, which is good. So we might have some bonus time to do some stuff. So because of that, I think in just a couple minutes here, we're gonna transition over to community screenshots to get those kind of out of the way, and then we'll jump back into maybe some fun stuff. If I still have permission, I hope I do. I'm not gonna ask Michael. I'm not gonna look to see his response. I think it'll be fine. I'm sure it will be. Okay. So a couple more questions here, and then we'll transition over to screenshots. Would a glass cannon mutator be off the table? One that left you with 1 total HP, but 100% boost to DPS, for example? So it's an interesting one. I like the concept of it, but actually I think that would go against some of the ideas that we have in mind. Like, that's like for those of you who want those really intense challenges, and that's exactly why we're making stuff like Daredevil. So this is a challenge that you can do, like you can follow these Daredevil challenges, right? Where it's like you completing high risk areas by restricting yourself in some way. So one is complete a high risk area without firing a primary weapon. One is complete a high risk area without using a device or ult. One, which I've completed, is complete a high risk area without taking damage to the hull. That was before we changed figures around, so that would actually be pretty difficult. And then complete a high risk area without having shield and armor installed. So these are more for you guys out there who want that. We don't want to put something like that as a mutator, because that could seriously hurt casual players. Since, you know, individuals who would like a mutator like that, you're gonna see a small percentage of the whole, and I would see individuals just go into their inventory and be like, oh, scrapping that, I don't want to do that mutator, or just selling it for credits. So it's all about that balance, right? How much systems will we have to explore? How's it procedural? Love the type space RPG. Need more space game. That comes from, is that Bill Farson? No, that's from Tech News Sniper. So at the moment, and the plan, so you can see there's 8 here on this map, but I do want to manage expectations accordingly. The game plan, and what we have on our frequently asked questions is that we are looking to have, I believe, 6 star systems, at least 6 planned for 1.0 release. And you guys do know that we would love to add post-launch DLC and a premium package, aside from probably a free one, I think, possibly. Michael, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what we said publicly. I don't think that's changed. So it's very possible that we could create more systems in the future outside of the scope of what we're working on right now. And if we end up working on those elements and add more content to the game, and if you want to buy into that, then, you know, we would have that in the future. Cool. Whew. All right. Let's see. A couple more. Actually, no. We need a transition. Now we need a transition. So I'm going to jump over to wonderful, beautiful screenshots that you guys have been posting on the Discord specifically. This is something that I always love to do because, I mean, you guys are seriously awesome on this front, if I'm being completely honest. So just doing a really quick transition here. So 1 second as I get the screenshots pulled up. Where's my folder? Excuse me, folder. Where did you go? Let me grab that. Sorry. There it is. Okay. So, now we can go over here. Yeah, there it is. Wonderful. So I got my screenshots that you guys have taken, the fun stuff, what you've been up to. And we will keep answering a couple more questions. This shot comes from the Chemical Bro. He always has a really good eye for photography. Also, don't know if he color adjusted this one or if he just like diminished the light, but very clever in making that very large rock afar look almost like a floating tablet. It's like, ooh, it's magical. I don't know. Don't know how to describe it. I just dig it. I dig it a lot. And you guys did too. You gave it a lot of upvotes in Discord, which is generally what I do when I choose these shots, by the way. A lot of them you guys chose, and I just like to show them off to the rest of the world. Very good. So as we're looking at this one, we'll answer a question. I'll try to answer a question when each image is available on the screen. Regarding the procedural nature of EVERSPACE 2, there's not much. All these locations are handcrafted. Most of the locations are handcrafted. There is some procedural usage when it comes to random locations you're going to, but it's procedural in the sense of we're taking assets and kind of slamming them against one another. And then we'll also have procedural environments showing up this in the fall update when we talk more about the ancient rifts, but I'm probably getting ahead of myself. So yeah, for the actual system discovery, like all that stuff's handcrafted. Okay, next one. Why can't I have more than 5 signal decoders, and are you gonna change that with the update? You can't have more than 5? That's actually news to me. I don't hang on to signal decoders, I use them. So I would have to defer to my coworkers on that front. Malty, do you know why we're limited to 5? Oh, 5 active. Oh, well, because we don't want your map to just be flooded with signals. That's why. That's honestly why. So yeah, we just want to take care of them. This next shot comes from the Chemical Bro, a nice vertical shot. I love the way that this guy is getting totally destroyed in front, with the player just coming down upon him. Oh, it's great, it's fantastic. But yeah, honestly, like legitimately, the only reason why it's limited to 5 is because we just don't want the map to be overwhelmed. But yeah, Chemical Bro, great work on these shots per usual. He does so many shots, it's kind of silly. But I would like to say we have a new challenger entering the fray when it comes to fantastic screenshots. This comes from Key Sky, and I actually chose the most from Key Sky, or you guys did, for the stream today. So we're gonna be talking a lot about their shots. Will you be able to craft a signal decoder with lower tier signal decoders, or uncraft a high tier signal decoder with perhaps someone like Fallen Pango who can work with their hacker magic to break down the more complex patterns into something that reveals more? No. We won't. We don't want signal decoders to be crafted. Nope, absolutely not. But speaking of crafted, this base could certainly use some crafting because it is in pain and suffering. Ouch! I love this location though. This is the station that has the alien stuff that you have to pick up and take back to Cedo. And I remember like the first time that I went to this location, in fact, and this screenshot gives me those vibes. Like it's like almost pulling nostalgia somehow. And I love the way that you're just like looking out onto this station, seeing the destruction and the minefields that totally never killed me during a live stream at all. Nope, no, not once. It's just gorgeous. It's very beautiful. So Key Sky, we also have this one, which is also just a fantastic shot of ancient equipment, right? Like flying into a site where magical stuff is happening. This is something that I could see like on a, like you're looking through like a, oh my gosh, one of those, I'm thinking back in like those super old like gameplay walkthrough books that you get, and it's like telling you lore details, and it's like the ancients. Like I could see this at the top of it, and it's like no one really knows who or what they are. You know, it's like that's where I could see this in some sort of like game manual that's like telling you all the things and all the tricks and stuff. So Key Sky, nice shot. This next one too is a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of just how simple and powerful this one comes together. You've heard me say it time and time again, but blue and orange are complementary colors. And just seeing this nebulous thing out in space with these complementary colors coming down to the horizon. As you can also see like the details on the planet, like it's there. You can see the detail. Like you're very isolated in the grand scheme of space. And it's kind of pleasant just to sit back and stare at this. It's really nice. When will collusion of the planet / sun arrive? This is a very strange question from Sirloin1234. I have no idea. I hope not anytime soon. Then how long exactly, approximately will EVERSPACE 2 be? This is a question from Tech News Sniper. So the gameplay regarding the story should be anywhere between 20 to 30 hours. That is the intended game space duration from start to finish, only story. But we hope that people will invest time into jobs, high-risk areas, side missions, upgrades, perks, you know, all the other things, to where you'd have a pretty sound 50+ hour investment if you're purchasing EVERSPACE 2. Pretty confident of that, actually. So yeah. Does enemy drop item levels +5? No, not at this time. Right now, this shot comes from Gambit Mobile. This was one of their first shots that they took. And I just wanted to show it off because I feel like we should give praise to people who are trying new things and taking photos. And you know what? This ain't half bad. I like the way it came out. Your color scheme is interesting. It's particular. It definitely is striking enough to make me go, huh, there are colors on this ship. So thank you for that, Gambit Mobile. But yeah, enemy dropping levels 5 levels higher than you. That might be a little bit game breaking with how we've rebalanced the level scaling and how we've rebalanced the level ratios as a whole. So what I mean by that is the difference between like a level 1 item and a level 2 items, not that much, but the difference between like say a level 22 item and a level 23 item actually has a little bit more distance between it. You're gonna start feeling that weight the further you progress into the game space. So dropping a different item and then being able to like use it by modifying it down, that could be a major problem. So probably that's never gonna happen, not 5 levels different. I think the most we've had even through development and testing, was 3. And I think that would probably be the max that we go. Maybe Marco's shaking his head going, nope, Eric, that's wrong, but don't tell him anyway. It's fine. What's the max level for the Drake update? I love that question. And the answer is it's higher than the spring update. I can't reveal that yet. You guys don't know how far it's going, but you know what? Key Sky's got another entry in here in the friggin' screenshot category. It's delightful, it's lovely, it's wonderful. And it's these shots where you just kind of like look out into the game space that I am drawn to. Just these almost environmental shots. Like you can see, like you can tell a story from the shot and seeing the interactions that the GMB have. Everything from they have bad drivers to they don't really super care too much about the environmental hazards they're creating. They just want the resources, and they are clearly a larger conglomerate inside of the DMZ, right? You have all of these little interactions going on and more just from a simple screenshot that puts the focus on them instead of on the player ship, which is literally blurred out of the picture through the depth of field. So nice job on that front, Key Sky. Definitely dig it. We got one from Medbed. I love these cockpit shots. I really do. I love how you're just like looking out the side, and it almost like this looks like you're in flight with them. Like you're also, because of your color scheme for your ship, you're a bloody outlaw, aren't you? You're in league with this guy, and I love it. I love it because you're creating your own story. And I also just love that side look out of the cockpit too. It just adds that extra level of immersion that, you know, especially those who play in first person mode desire. So nicely captured shot. Will the rarity of a signal decoder make any difference to the encounter? Yes. Can you increase the rarity of decoders as crafting? No. So the rarity of the signal decoder means more mutators. That's the big thing. More mutators it has, the more, or more tiers it has, the higher tier it has. The higher the tier, the more mutator it has. Goodness. Uncommon has 1. Rare has 2. Superior has 3. Technically, if there was a legendary signal decoder, it would have 4. I legitimately don't know if that's going to happen or not. Legitimately don't know if that's going to happen or not. That's not even a tease. So if you're expecting that all of a sudden because I said words out of my mouth, legitimately don't know if that's going to happen or not. So, excellent. This next shot comes from Highbarf. I didn't get a lot from Highbarf, but I tried to choose the one the community liked the most. Also love the cockpit shots, of course. In a light fighter, the lighter frame, I think that it contrasts really nicely here, so you can see more of the scenic Haid Nebula. Let's see, will we ever get photo mode in Supralight? Andy? Andy, do you know that one? Andy, are you here? Legitimately don't know. Legitimately do not know. If I recall correctly, we had somebody who tampered with game files, and they found a way to take photos in Supralight mode. So I wouldn't put it off the table, but it's certainly not a focal point for us right now, because like we're generating content. We're not just like, oh, hey, I have time to chill. I'm gonna go mess with this and try to make this happen. So please don't think that my saying somebody just made it happen means that it's super easy to do. Nay, I say to thee, we have a focus, we have deadlines, which is why the game will be released in a 1.0 state at the beginning of next year. So, yeah. Just keep that in mind. Is there any claustrophobic map design? Yeah, there are certain locations that are very tight corridors. If you find the entry points and whatnot, that's very much something that we desire to do. This one comes from the Chemical Bro, by the way. Nice vertical shot. We're also going to see this one more time in his fan art, I believe, because he dolled this up a little bit further. But yeah. Hang on one second. Did I just get a ping? I think I might have gotten additional information on a topic that I perhaps maybe missed. One second, just checking things. Okay. Everything's good. But yeah, there are some tight chasms and whatnot. In fact, I might be able to show you an example of that. We could probably do that really quick. Yeah, let me hang on a second. Let's do this. I want to give you a really beautiful example of some really cool things in the game. So let me just pull this up as of right now. Surprise! If you haven't started seeing it on Steam yet, the summer update, experimental, is here. And everything that we've discussed in today's stream is in it. But we're not done. We're not done. We're not done. Because, of course, in a week's time, we'll have the full update. So please, 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 if you are playing the experimental, slap us a message. Go to the forums. Pick it apart. Bring us your feedback, because we want to fine-tune this so that it can reach fruition in the best way possible. Okay? Okay. Nice. I can also show an example of claustrophobic map design, but I figured I'd be cheeky and do that too. But yeah. And then the only other question that I have at the moment is, will there be ancient weapons like in EVERSPACE 1? That's kind of telling, unfortunately, because if I were to say yes, then I think that implies like a certain direction that we want to take the game space. But if I say no, that kind of sounds lame and like we're missing an opportunity. So I can't really answer the question. I will not deny that we have had those internal discussions regarding what could potentially be accruing from an ancient construct or having something like that on the ship. But I want to be incredibly clear here. Don't know if that's going to happen or not. Like, this is something that's just on a very conceptual sort of, would this be a good addition or not phase. So yeah, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So yeah, we are absolutely experimental now though. 100%, and everything that I've shown you, like it's all live, from the mainframe expansions to the borders around equipment. I mean, that's not, you know, anything too crazy, but the HIVE startup delays absolutely is present. And also, let's talk about level 25, which we'll be reaching. Because level 25 has 3 new perks that you will be grabbing. The first one is called Retaliation, and this allows you to reflect 30% of incoming damage back to your attackers. Not 30% damage that hits your shield specifically, or your armor specifically, or your hull specifically. It's 30% of incoming damage, all of it, back to your attackers. Okay? The second one is called Exploitation. This one increases your critical hit chance by 50% when attacking enemies whose movement is impaired. Okay? Now, I want to be super clear on that front. When it says 50% increased critical hit chance, that means that it takes that value up here, so in my case 18.9%, and increases that value by 50% of it. It doesn't add 50%, so that does not become 68.9%. That would instead become approximately 37.8%, I think, somewhere around there. No, that would be double. No, so it'd become, math is hard. It'd end up becoming somewhere around like 27, 28%. About 28%, because it's adding 50% onto it. Okay? So that's what that means. And then the last perk that you will then gain access to is called Preparation. This one's a lot of fun, especially if you're in a bomber. Every second you gain 5% increased secondary weapon damage, stacking up to 6 times. It's 30% increase to your damage of your secondary, straight up. But it does reset when you take damage. So really useful for bombers. Also surprisingly useful for vindicators because you're generally not taking damage. So even though they have one secondary weapon slot, it can prove to be very powerful if you got your drones distracting your foes. So obviously I'm sure you guys will find other ways to bring those into the fray. But those are the 3 new perks that you will be able to have access to if you reach level 25. Yeah, surprise. I hope that you're all excited about the experimental. I do see the question about, is the experimental only available on Steam? Yes, the experimental is only available on Steam. Simply put, Steam is the only platform that has the capabilities of the experimental branch. That's what it comes down to. So yeah, so we utilize that on Steam. Nothing against anyone else. It's just that we have the opportunity, so we're going to take it. We use it on Steam. So those on Steam, absolutely, you have access to that experimental branch. It's very easy to get into. If you need help on doing that, ask somebody in the community. I'm sure they can guide you to it. It's so super duper easy. Join the Discord to do that, by the way. Ha! Incentivized you to get in there. Wonderful. All right. Let's see. Was there something else I missed? I probably missed something. I think we covered all the topics, including our little secret one. Yeah. So we're good. I think we're good. Yeah. So now with that being said, we can kind of go back in and show like some more screenshots that you guys did. We got some time. But yeah, I think that you guys should have a very pleasant time waiting, since, you know, we've got the experiment, since we got these screenshots to show while you're waiting for experimental branch. Words are hard, okay? Man, my brain is starting to, my brain's starting to fade. Oh, that looked trippy. Let's fix this. All right, cool. So now we're gonna go into the last bits of the screenshots while the experimental branch is pleasantly downloading in the background for all y'all. All y'all. Whew. Oh man, if that's not revealing of my childhood, I don't know what is. All right. This one comes from Dark Chaos. Dark Chaos has a lot of these sweeping environmental locations, and as I previously mentioned, I love them. So I included it here. It's nice, it's fun. And of course, I need to access, hang on a second. Where did my document go? Okay, so everything's fine. Everything's good. All right, cool. Everything's fine. Perfect. So we have Dark Chaos there. Then we also have Drive Live, who took this shot with nice pretty colors, and you guys liked it. This shot bothers me, I'm gonna be honest. It bothers me for a number of reasons. One. Two, colors aren't consistent in what it's firing at. It's blue. It should be firing blue then, right? Oh my gosh. 3, you can tell that the pilot's not in the cockpit. That really bothers me. All right, that's very unfortunate. So that's really what I don't like out of this. But also, fun fact. I'm sure that somebody caught this, but this is from EVERSPACE 1, by the way. I had to do a double take because I legitimately thought this was from EVERSPACE 2, and I was like, wait, how did we get this effect, and like what location is this from? No, this is from EVERSPACE 1. So I think that was a really great shot from Drive Live. There's a couple telling features of it that make it stand out as EVERSPACE 1. And I'm sure you guys can probably notice it. It's good stuff. Oh, Michael also provides some quick clarity, so I'm going to read that aloud. He says, I think there'd be a way to have experimental builds on GOG too, but since GOG pilots are less than 2%, unfortunately, it's too much of a hassle. So thanks for that. Thanks for that clarity. But I don't even think, Michael, I don't think they even have that capability. To my understanding, I didn't think that was part of the build distribution. Regardless, it's only on Steam. But you only have to wait a week if you don't have Steam. If you have it on GOG, you only have to wait a week, and then we'll have the full-blown update. So rest assured, patience is a virtue, and it will all come together. We're gonna make sure everyone is very well pleased. Jay Gnarl had this one. It had something, the name was something about I must race or something like that. And You know, I thought this was, I really like the way this one comes together for the one fact that like nobody takes photos of the race rings. Like nobody takes photos of the race rings. And the way it was taken here, I had to do a double take because I was like, what effect is that? Is he using a device? Like how is this happening? And it's because of the alignment of this shot coming into the ship, which I thought was actually his thrusters. And then it's the space perfectly aligned in this circle as he's going through the race. So I liked the way that you brought that together, Jane Arl. That's a really clever shot. Very well done. Very well done. So kudos to that. I love it how you're thinking outside the box. I love these shots. I love this. It's really good. Then we also have another one from Key Sky. I don't even have to use words. This is just, that's fantastic. So as this one's sitting here and you guys are probably generating more questions, which is great. I also do want to point out something that's a little bit unfortunate. I actually am not 100% happy about this, but I am not going to be able to stream next week. So whenever the whole full-blown update goes live, I'm not gonna be here. Now, whoa, hang on a second. I want to give you some hope. I want to give you some love because we have been talking with Geek Bites, who've I've already given praise during this stream, who's been helping catalog your questions so they don't get lost. He's actually going to take one for the team and stream for you guys next week. So when the update does officially go live, for all of you guys who don't quite have access to it yet, which it is a small number of you guys, but still, like once that full-blown package goes live and the additions that we haven't revealed yet have been implemented, he'll be able to talk more on that subject matter, and he'll be able to show you some gameplay where he's at and maybe even start diving into some of that new content as well. So not all is lost, just unfortunate personal events. So cool. This one also comes from Key Sky. We got so many beautiful shots from Key Sky. I just keep pulling them up. It's great. The use of the screenshot features in EVERSPACE 2, like when you guys are truly like bringing it all together, I love this. I love this stuff so much. So thank you for sharing these shots with us. You don't have to. You could be taking them and just withholding them and I've got all these beautiful screenshots and nobody else can have them. But no, you take the time, you send them to, Discord, you put them on your Steam pages. Thank you for sharing them because there's so much goodness that comes out. It just like makes me feel like a little child and just like, I love it. I love it so much. And it fills me with such joy how much you're getting out of the game just on a simple front of screenshotting. And it makes us want to do more. Like it invigorates us to do even better with this product. So sincerely, like just shout out to everyone who takes screenshots in a like as a whole and shares them with us. It really is inspiring, even though it's the stuff we are doing. It happens. It's a real thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this next one's just the Colonial Fleet Cruiser. Just a nice big old encompassing shot of it. You guys thumbed this one up as well in the Discord, so that's why we're sharing it. You guys liked what you were seeing. This one's from Flory. Very, very good stuff. What else? There was something else. Sirloin says bi-weekly community ambassador. Dude, sick burn, bro. That was a good one. Oh, that one, that's fantastic. Yeah, I really want to stress that I'm not happy about missing next week, but I digress. I'm super thankful that Geekbite can dive in. So that should be pretty awesome. Man, that's such a savage comment. I'm not even mad though. That was good. All right, next one up, we got Excelsior, and awesome. I love this. Oh, brilliant. Not only is it just like, taking this location from an authentic level of, I just want to crap all over this place, but it's also stylized where you have the bomber is legitimately flying away. So it's like the bomber did its job. Very very excellent. Like, it bombed and it's leaving. Like, oh my gosh. And it looks like this thing could just continue onwards. Like it's just started. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful shot. What a beautiful shot. Thank you so much for sharing this, Excel. That is, oh, that's fantastic. It's phenomenal. So, very good. Oh, I also saw a question for Geekbyte specifically asking if he can beatbox. That's, oh my gosh. Oh, some things I don't miss. Geekbyte, good luck on that front. Oh my gosh. Very nice, very nice. But yeah, this is personally like one of my favorite shots, just how it all comes together. I've already got it saved for use on my phone. Wonderful shot. Absolutely wonderful shot. We got Flory, who definitely needs to get to a dock, because that don't look so good. We got some cracks in the window. We got a little bit, just a tad bit of scraping. Some paint was coming off just right there. It's not bad, just a little bit of paint. So we'll have to touch up the paint a little bit. Otherwise, I feel like you're in pretty good shape, but you probably should repair somewhere. But man, I've very much enjoyed like the process of mesh design over the top of the assortment of ships that come out of the picture. Because every one of these, it just, can I do a side rant? I'm gonna do a quick side rant. You know those racing games? You know those racing games where you crash and your car doesn't take any damage at all? I grew up on that crap, okay? Every time it happens, it's like, man, I wish there was like authentic car damage. This sucks. It's so lame. And then like you started getting some of those video games where it's like you would bump into the side of something and your wheel would start like wobbling, and your car door would have a dent, or your, oh my gosh, I was like, this is amazing. I love this. Didn't you? I wasn't even like in it for the immersion. I just wanted to like break my car. I don't know why. So I get so much joy out of seeing visual change when something is awry, when something's wrong. So yeah, I love how this is captured from Flory. Oh my gosh. End rant. Oh, so hope you guys do appreciate that too, because I think there was a lot of really healthy, good work that came out of it. Bill Farson, who's been in the stream asking some questions. We got a shot from you. This one specifically identifying the Thorians, the Thorian worms, and all of their nasty, whatever you want to call it, in their natural habitat. So great shot. I love it. Comes together well. Speaks for itself. Very good, very good. And then last but not least, we have Key Sky again with just a shot. Let's just soak this in. Just soak this in. Just let your eyes absorb it, because it's, yeah, it's fantastic. Isn't that great? Isn't that a great shot? I love it. I dig it. I dig it so much. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so last points of notes. Last points of, whew, man, I don't know what's going on in my brain today, but it is not at 100% capacity. Whew, oh boy. Last note for you all. When you dive into the experimental, I seriously want to stress this. There have been so many back-end changes. There have been so many adjustments to the systems that have been in place that I very highly recommend you start a new save file. Now keep in mind that because of the saving system, you should more than ever be able to hold on to your other save file as well, right? That's gonna stay there. You don't have to delete the one you've been working on. But starting a new save file and experiencing this game from the ground up with these new additions, it's seriously a game changer. Like internally, we've been talking about like the problems between like level 6 to 10. There were lots of them. And with Marco's improvement to the leveling, as like the scaling of the equipment and how those numbers are calculated, and also rebalancing the progression thereof, and also making adjustments to various enemy capacities and HBs and like all of that stuff, and then the slew of changes across the board for like, there's so much that is different than what you would have experienced the first time you went through it. So again, I seriously strongly encourage you guys to start a new game. with this experimental branch, because through that and what you experience, it's gonna be very proving if the game is in a really good spot or if we need to backtrack a little bit and correct things. And your feedback helps us do that. So if you're diving into an older save file, the one that you have just been playing, and you continue where you're at, it could end up being a little bit wonky because of all those changes. But if you start a new save game, you're gonna experience the way it's intended, and that's gonna help us flourish from your feedback, okay? So, thank you for letting me say that. I know that we are over time now, but yeah, those are the big things. Just really, really encourage you guys to start a new save game when you dive into the vast number of changes that have accrued. But otherwise, go have fun this weekend. I know there was somebody in the Discord who was like, thought that I was implying that it was gonna be later for the experimental build, and now I feel bad. But yeah, it's live, like it's legitimately live. You can go play it this weekend. Start accruing feedback. The experimental build closes approximately 1 week from today when the update goes live. So give us your feedback. Go to those forums, go freaking hog wild, as they say. And we'll look forward to having GeekBite entertain you next week, because I'll be out. And that's all I got. So you guys have been crazy awesome today with all of your questions. I'm gonna answer this last one. The last one. Are there differences from experimental to the full update in 1 week, and are save files forward and backward compatible? Technically, save files are forward and backward compatible, but it can still generate a lot of issues, and we do not want to address issues from save file compatibility since there is gonna be a wipe. The wipe is very intentional so that we don't have to do that. It's a lot of extra time to make sure every single save file works. But carrying over data, it should absolutely work, but you're gonna pull over weirdness too. You'll have items that have values that they shouldn't have. You will have, if you have been thorough, you'll actually have extra mainframe expansions. You will have, there's gonna be weirdness, okay? And just keep that in mind. But yeah, when the experimental goes live, when the update goes live, there will be further improvements from the experimental. So yeah, there you go. That's what you need to know. That's what you need to go. As I was saying, you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for all of your questions. I have been Eric Schrader, your community ambassador, your guide, and your servant through all things EverSpace 2. Don't stop being awesome and have one heck of a good time with the experimental branch this week. All right, well, into next week, I should say. Okay. Toodles! Make sure you, oh, crap. Oh my goodness. There we go. Now I'm tough. Make sure you guys take wonderful, beautiful photos during your experimental travels. And when you do, add the spoiler tag in Discord. All right. We want to tease those who can't play the experiment. Oh my gosh. Oh, but no, sincerely, please put spoiler tags if you are going to post your screenshots, but also post your screenshots. I am looking forward to seeing what you guys put together. I don't know if we'll have a segment for GeekBite to share screenshots next week, so probably don't have that expectation, okay? But the week after that, we'll absolutely get cracking into that stuff. Highlight what you guys have been experiencing, what you've been taking. It'll be a fantastic ride, all right? So, Yeah, that's really all I got, other than the fact that EVERSPACE 2 is in an early access phase. And if you wish list us, you'll know if it ever goes on sale. From time to time again, it can, which is important to note because the price will go up at the 1.0 release. That is right. So if you want to invest in the game as cheaply as possible, you want to wishlist us and purchase it on those opportunities. If you want to give us as much money as possible, or you simply want to wait until the 1.0 release, until you've made up your mind, or otherwise just don't want to be in an early access phase, which is totally understandable, just know price will increase at that point at the beginning of next year. Otherwise, that's really all the data I have for you today. Go enjoy, go have fun, have a great time this weekend. Awesome. Let's go have fun with Corbin and tell him about how the experimental branch is now live.